The world of motorsport and Paralympic sport is in deep mourning after the passing of Alex Zanardi, a man whose life story became one of the most powerful symbols of resilience, courage, and human determination. His death at the age of 59 has triggered an outpouring of grief across Italy and the global sporting community, with tributes coming from athletes, officials, and fans who admired not only what he achieved, but who he became after facing unimaginable adversity. Among the most prominent reactions came from Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, who described Zanardi as a national hero and a figure who represented the very best qualities of the Italian spirit. In her statement, she expressed deep sorrow and emphasized that Zanardi was far more than a sporting champion. According to her message, Italy has not only lost an extraordinary athlete, but also a man who embodied courage, positivity, and hope in the face of life's hardest challenges. Her words quickly spread across media outlets and social platforms, becoming a focal point of national mourning. Zanardi's journey was already legendary long before his passing. He began his professional racing career in motorsport, competing in Formula One during the 1990s for teams including Jordan, Minardi, and Lotus. While his Formula One career showed moments of promise, it was in American open-wheel racing where he truly found success. Competing in kart, Champ Car, he became a dominant force, winning back-to-back championships and earning respect for his aggressive yet intelligent driving style. At the peak of his career, he was considered one of the most talented drivers outside Formula One, admired for his ability to push limits and perform under pressure. However, everything changed dramatically in 2001 during a race at the Lausitzring in Germany. Zanardi was involved in a horrific crash that resulted in the amputation of both his legs. The accident shocked the racing world and initially raised questions about whether he would survive, let alone compete again. For many athletes, such an incident would have marked the end of any sporting future. But for Zanardi, it became the beginning of a completely new chapter, one that would redefine his legacy in ways no one could have predicted. Following a long and difficult recovery, Zanardi made the extraordinary decision to return to sport, not in racing cars, but in hand cycling. His transition into Paralympic sport became one of the most inspiring comeback stories in modern athletics. He trained with the same intensity and passion that had defined his racing career, refusing to be limited by his physical condition. His determination soon paid off as he began competing at the highest level in paracycling events, eventually representing Italy at the Paralympic Games. His achievements in Paralympic sport were nothing short of remarkable. Zanardi went on to win multiple gold medals at both the London 2012 and Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. Each victory was not only a personal triumph, but also a powerful message to the world about resilience and possibility. He became a global ambassador for adaptive sport, inspiring millions of people with disabilities and proving that life after tragedy could still be filled with purpose, achievement, and joy. Beyond medals and records, what truly defined Zanardi was his attitude toward life. He often spoke about gratitude, positivity, and the importance of focusing on what remains possible rather than what has been lost. His personality was famously warm and approachable, and he had a unique way of connecting with people from all walks of life. His signature greeting, "Hello, my friend," became symbolic of his character, simple, sincere, and full of humanity. For fans, it was more than just a phrase. It was a reflection of how he saw the world. Following the news of his death, tributes began pouring in from across the globe. Former Formula One drivers, Paralympic athletes, sports federations, and public figures all expressed their grief and admiration. Many described Zanardi as a fighter, a legend, and an inspiration who changed the meaning of strength. Racing teams and motorsport organizations highlighted his contributions both on and off the track, noting that his impact extended far beyond his results. Even those who never met him personally spoke of how his story had influenced their perspective on life and adversity. Within the Formula One community, the reaction was particularly emotional. Drivers and team principals shared memories of Zanardi's kindness, humor, and humility. Despite the dangers and competitiveness of motorsport, he was widely respected as someone who never lost his humanity. Even years after leaving Formula One, He remained a beloved figure within the paddock and was frequently invited to major racing events, where he continued to inspire younger generations of drivers. In Italy, his passing has been treated as a national loss. Public figures, athletes, and ordinary citizens alike have expressed their sorrow, with many describing him as a symbol of hope for the entire country. Sports facilities and institutions across Italy held moments of silence, and flags were lowered as a sign of respect. The statement from Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni reflected this national sentiment, as she emphasized that Zanardi represented not only sporting excellence, but also the resilience and strength of the Italian people. His influence extended far beyond sports. Zanardi became a motivational figure for people facing physical and emotional challenges around the world. His life story was often used in motivational talks, documentaries, and educational programs to demonstrate the power of determination and mindset. He showed that setbacks, no matter how severe, do not have to define the rest of a person's life. Even in the later years of his life, he continued to inspire through public appearances, interviews, and charitable work. He supported initiatives for disability sports and encouraged accessibility in athletics, always emphasizing inclusion and opportunity. His message remained consistent. Life is not about what happens to you, but how you respond to it. As the world processes the news of his passing, many are reflecting not only on his achievements, but also on the emotional impact he had on millions of people. His journey from Formula One driver to Paralympic champion, from tragedy to triumph, remains one of the most powerful narratives in sports history. It is a story that will continue to be told for generations, not as a tale of loss, but as one of extraordinary resilience. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's words capture the sentiment shared by many. Italy has lost a hero. But while his physical presence is gone, the legacy of Alex Zanardi continues to live on. His story, his achievements, and his spirit remain deeply embedded in the world of sport and beyond. He leaves behind not just records and medals, but a lasting reminder that human strength is often defined not by what we can do in perfect conditions, but by what we choose to do when everything changes. His memory will continue to inspire athletes, patients, and ordinary people around the world who face their own struggles. And in that sense, Alex Zanardi's journey does not end here. It continues every time someone refuses to give up, every time someone chooses hope over despair, and every time someone believes that life still has meaning after loss.